anyone wants to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, they're more than welcome to choose.
Sure, I'll do it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call a meeting to order. This is the Planning Board meeting of Nottingham. Today's Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025 at 6:33 p.m. I'll go around the room for roll call. Start.
All right, John Decker, Select Board.
Skip Severin's Alton. Drew Stevens.
Dirk Rotenhuis.
Glenn Griswold.
Larry Haney, SRPC.
Yeah, I'll seat Skip for, is Adam was gonna be out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're full, you've got 5 members. First on the agenda is approval of minutes. There's 2 sets of minutes, the June 11th and June 25th. I breezed through them, I didn't have any comment. Anyone else have comments on them?
I didn't see anything.
I'm trying to remember which meeting I missed. So I missed one. On that one. Yeah, I thought, I read these were fine to me. I have no idea about those, I read them, but I could approve them, but it doesn't really mean anything.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 11th, 2025. If we're there.
Yeah, do you wanna do both, do them both?
Well,
Okay.
he
take
may
them-
vote differently.
Yeah,
on
I can
I think we
abstain for
should-
the 25th, so.
Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought we were supposed to do it each.
It, yeah, it,
It's
Okay.
just a procedural thing.
June 11th, 2025, there's a motion to approve those minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor indicate aye.
I,
Is there another motion for the June 25th?
Full motion to accept the June 25th, 2025 minutes as written.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Those in favor indicate aye.
Aye.
John Decker abstains.
Okay. Thank you. We start off with public hearings, although this public hearing, they have requested a continuance to Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. I'd like a motion and a second to approve that continuance.
I'll make a motion to continue case 25-006, sub Ernstoff 35 Deerfield Road, to Wednesday, August 27th, 2025 at, say at 6:30 PM?
Just say it's 6:30, yeah.
6:30 PM.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All those in favor indicate aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. That one will be continued. Next, we have public comment. This is a time where public could come in. We could also take emails or questions, but we have none. So we'll move on to the next one. This would be select board, committee, staff, board member updates. I guess we haven't switched this around yet. Ooh. Why don't we continue with that? Keep it in this order. Any select board updates?
Let's see, what do we, probably, but nothing super serious. We did have a joint, well, actually it was the Conservation Commission's hearing technically. And that was voted to approve the spending of $350,000 to fund CELT's purchase of a piece of property located in between, sort of, kind of, next to Pawtucket, like a little missing block there. I don't know, anything to add to that, Drew? What's that?
No, just that, that $350,000 came from the conservation fund.
Conservation fund, right,
Right,
yes.
but it's a over 200 acre parcel. The funds needed are about 1.6 million. And they're applying for a number of different grants to make the rest of it happen, so we agreed, or the select board agreed, to put $350,000, which is what CELT asked for, towards that. If it doesn't happen, the money doesn't get spent.
Right. Goes
Is it
back to
pro-
conservation.
It's a privately owned piece of
It's
property?
privately owned piece of property currently, yes. And they're maintaining a small piece of that with the
About
farm.
15
yeah,
acres, something
15,
like
16
that.
acres.
I don't think there's a farm there. I think it's just a
It's a
home
home,
with like a
okay.
lawn type thing, but 15 acres of that property will be set aside.
Farmish looking.
But over 200 are gonna be included in that conservation easement. It's got frontage on Deerfield Road and backs up to Round Pond Creek. Is it Round
Well,
Pond Creek?
it backs all the way down to Round Pond Creek and Round Pond Road goes through it.
And there's also some runoff that goes to Back Creek, even though it's not directly on
Right.
Back Creek, so.
Right, yeah, the front Deerfield Road side would go to Back Creek.
Good.
Cool. You good?
Didn't the select
Skip,
board?
you have anything?
I do.
What's that?
Okay.
We had our first CIP meeting for this year last night, or
Oh, good.
Monday night.
Yeah, that's a good piece that I did, part of.
We kind of started invoking a 10-year plan versus a 6-year plan. $15,000 lower limit. What was the third thing? I don't know.
So we went to 10 years.
Oh, high, medium,
Right, we went to change the priorities to high, medium, and low instead of numeric system, just to help simplify things. Increased the value from 10,000 to 15,000.
Minimum value.
Just, right, minimum value, just to keep up with the times.
So the process has started. Our goal is to get it done before budget startup, which has been foreign for a while.
And it's catching up quick,
It is.
because we did get a later start than we wanted to.
It's cool.
No direct updates for me. I was just gonna ask John, didn't the select board also vote to reinstate us as dues paying members in SRPC?
Yes, that was a couple meetings ago,
Okay.
right, so,
I don't think we've had a planning
no,
board
thank you,
meeting
that was
since then,
a
right?
very good point, right, because we did that right before the meeting got canceled.
Right.
So hopefully you guys received funds from us and we are.
I heard checks in the mail.
You're still getting the checks
Classic.
in the mail? Classic checks in the mail?
Yeah.
Is it gonna come by
I-
email?
I don't, there were a couple checks that I saw to SRPC in the manifest, so I wasn't sure what's what. So
I'm sure it's fine. I did see it from Ellen. I saw, it was great news.
Yeah.
Thank you to the community on behalf of SRPC. I know Jen was ecstatic, and she said so to Ellen, but for me to all of you, thank you.
Yep. Well, we'll definitely get the value, because it's a great piece to have. Great service.
So take advantage of those free trainings and stuff.
Yeah.
Now free trainings.
Yeah.
That stole my thunder, so I was just gonna mention that.
That was good, because it should have been under my report. Thank you, Drew, for
Stole
stopping
mine
me.
too, but yeah.
It's all good news. Everyone wants the good news. I don't have any bad news, so Glenn.
I also don't have any bad news. I do have, I don't know if everyone saw it, but there was an email from Jen at SRPC about legislative updates for things like ADUs, zoning, other stuff like that. So I think that that's something that we're going to need to discuss in the near future. what that's going to look like, I'm not entirely certain. I haven't really had a chance to dig in.
Yeah, I think we're gonna touch on that a little bit today.
A little bit, yeah.
Did we see that? Did it come from Jen?
It was an email sent to the commissioners. It may not have
Okay.
made it to you specifically.
I can forward it to you if you want.
Yeah.
That is the other piece of this, and I didn't ask Jen, but we do have the ability to have more than just one commissioner.
Yeah, I think you even did before, but now you have voting rights and stuff, so it's a lot different now that you're dues paying members, but yes, you can have at least one more.
So if anybody is interested in becoming a commissioner, I can tell you from being a commissioner before, you will never get off their email list.
Which is kind of a good thing, because then you'll still get the updates.
I'm getting all the updates. And invited to all sorts of meetings that I just don't go to. But, so yeah, there's an opportunity for, another member to join that.
Any volunteers?
Well, before we fill it.
I was on that
let's-
list for a while
let's-
too, from a previous director.
Let's wait till everybody's here and then, have free game, so I don't want somebody to take it up and
Right.
somebody else really wanted to have it.
Very fair, very fair.
Just made everybody not commit out of this. Anything else, Glenn?
That was it.
Blair, do you have some updates, or do you wanna roll into business, cause I know that you've got some business, but.
Yeah, the business section for tonight's meeting is gonna be a lot of me. There is another, there's another, oh shit. There's a meeting, I was gonna try to tell you about, but I can't. Like another training that you might be interested in. I'll try to find it by the end of the thing, by the end of the meeting. No, I don't have any real other updates. I was gonna talk about the dues paying part, but, and I will talk about Glenn's point about the legislative update that Jen sent out. So. Let's leave it for that.
All right, well, we'll roll into other business. So we have on the agenda is discuss recent legislation changes and list of potential zoning changes.
Yeah, so that is two different things, because on Friday I emailed out to all of you the updated version of that ongoing list of potential zoning and regulatory changes. Did everybody receive it?
The one that's titled zoning ordinances at the top, or sorry, list of potential changes to Nottingham land use.
Exactly, yeah. Stepping back, we all have new email addresses at SRPC. We are now .gov, no longer .org. And so the website address has changed. So it's Stratford RPC, Regional Planning Commission, NH.gov. So make sure you update emails from SRPC people to reflect that. We'll still get them, but eventually we might not. And you might get filtered out, or emails might get filtered out by your spam or firewall or whatever, so just keep an eye on that. So I sent that out on Friday, and this is something that has just been going on since I started working for the community 3.5 years ago. And just stuff would pop up in conversation or whatever, and I would just add it to a list based on people telling me to, or things that I would see that were just wrong. And so this document that you have now is the most updated iteration of it. And should probably start dating it so we can keep track of it. So what I want to do is go through this real quick on a high level, and then I'm happy to answer any questions that are specific to the regulations. I just want to sort of explain the document just a little bit. So as you know, this is regulatory changes. So this includes site plan review and subdivision regs, as well as zoning. There will be, what you won't see on here is all the stuff that would need to be changed due to the legislature's recent changes.
Moving my chair.
Because the summary that Jen sent out today, I got it today. So, I wasn't able to include it in this. I knew what they were, but I wanted to include them all, so I just didn't include them, this time, and I'll do it, we can talk about that, later. But, so those are to come. However, what I did include were 3 changes to the RSAs that need to be addressed because they've already passed and it's been a couple of years. So like the 2023 road bonding one contradicts everything that we have about performance guarantees, securities, bonding, whatever you want to call them, within our regs. So we have to change a lot of the regs to make sure that they reflect the fact that someone that builds a subdivision and has a new road is not required to put up a bond for that road unless they ask for a building permit for one of the houses, or they try to sell a lot. So until one of those 2 triggers happens, they're not required to put up a bond. Our regs say otherwise, and we need to have it reflect that. So that's just an example. There was also some changes in 2024, childcare industry, definition of an abutter, fairly simple changes, but we do need to prioritize those when we start getting into our zoning amendment season, which pretty much usually kicks off in August. So then just going through the rest of it, I got a section for definitions. This is mostly in the zoning ordinance. The zoning map has a label change, but that's got its own section. And then just sort of general edits, things that I think we should do, or things that you guys have brought to my attention, or maybe Dale, something like that. And then it goes down to the subdivision and site plan review regulations. Again, because we can handle those internally, I didn't put them up with the zoning ordinances, the zoning amendments. And there were some, so this has kind of 3 sections. The first section is changes that affect both documents. So we have to do it for both documents, because a lot of times the things that are said are identical. And then I broke it out to things that affect only the subdivision regulations and things that only affect site plan review. Obviously, there's only a couple, but it just makes things easier for me, makes things easier for you to find them. And then there was some formatting items. It would, in the zoning ordinance, this would probably require a zoning amendment, but we'll check on the individual ones. Because it's not really a substantive change, it's just moving things around or indenting it or something like that. There are maps that are out there, some are regulatory, some are just informative, and trying to be clear about what's what, and perhaps even consider labeling the maps moving forward. So like if you're someone that goes to the town's website, it's good to know if you're looking at something that's just something the town put together, it's information they wanted to see, or does it actually have, carry a regulatory weight. Right now, as far as I can tell, we have the zoning map, aquifer protection map, the flood hazard area map, and the wireless communication overlay. I can't remember if there was an actual map of that, but those are kind of what we have right now.
Do we reference a steep slope map at all?
We didn't. We have a steep slope overlay district, and all it is just any areas that are over 25% slope over a certain percent of area. Like it has to be minimum 2,000.
So we're not IDing it on a map?
No, because that would require doing some kind of LiDAR flight and mapping all that out. That would be way too much for us to do.
All right.
And, you'd end up with about 1/3 of the town covered with it, so.
Yeah. Oh, and then the appendices. We had talked about this for a while. There were things in there that were maybe not correct, or perhaps it's best that we just take them out and make them standalone documents. So every time you update them, you don't have to update the zoning ordinance. So we had some conversations about that. So I made that its own section. And then I had I have an administrative section about application forms. These were things that have been talked about, hadn't really been implemented, and we should we should have a look at it and start considering it. Some of this might be something best left for when we finally do get a new land use clerk, but I did want to start listing it out. Finally, I just added in some information I had found on when you adopt zoning amendments. Some of the things that need to be done as part of the hearing, as part of a public notice, just to keep ourselves on the up and up to avoid any challenges.
I'll be back in a few.
Okay. So that's the document. Happy to go over anything in particular that the board wants to discuss right now, but just some things to keep in mind. Usually around August is when we start to see a bit of a slowdown in government activity, vacations and builders have already gotten their permits. They did that back in the winter and spring. So we pivot and start to do some of this stuff. So that'll be happening. It usually starts next month. I do strongly recommend that you prioritize some of those changes to reflect the RSAs, especially the new stuff that Jen sent out today. But we can do all the other ones as well. And then, just remember how long this stuff takes, because we're trying to do this while we're doing all the other things that we have to do. And so we might set out with the best intentions to do all this stuff, and then life happens. And
You get 3 things on the agenda, and then you're at 10 o'clock at night trying to talk about it, and your brain has just been sucked dry of any.
Very good thoughts, especially we have to talk about this stuff because it's dry and it's complex. Because of all the variables involved when you make a change to a regulatory thing. And we kind of have to have things wrapped up by before the holidays. Maybe you can leak into December, but it goes fast. We've all been through this, it. So last year I think we made some really good progress. We made some good changes. We debated some things that didn't end up going forward, and I think that's what's going to happen. But that's why I strongly recommend starting with the things I think we know have to happen, so we can get those done. So that's where we're at with that. As far as the document that Jen sent out today, there's a lot in there. They made a lot of changes.
Was that sent out to everybody? Do I have that?
Well, no, it was sent out to the commissioners. So the SRPC commissioners. But one of us will forward it to you, so you might get it twice. But yeah, as of right now, you might not have it.
So, I apologize for being late, everybody. So the initial part of this was about the, an update to the state laws so far, or not?
Yeah, well, so because of the number of RSAs that affect what we do here in a planning board and in a zoning environment, Jen had a couple staff members put together a summary of all those changes that would affect the community, our member communities. And then we split it up. We all went back through and did a review to make sure she got it right. And then that final version just came out. So it's a good summary. It explains what the reg is, what it means, and talks at a high level of changes that communities might want to start thinking about. It's not specific to each community because we have 18 communities. It was, here are where you might want to start looking for changes, that sort of thing. There were ones, about ADUs, ones about development on a Class 6 road. There was one about allowing multifamily housing in commercially zoned districts. There were ones about, about assessment. I guess if you have a single family in a commercial zone, you're assessed as though what the highest and best use is, which tends to be commercial, so you might get taxed higher, but you can do an abatement request, but you have to do it every year. Now you just have to do it one time. So the town, that might not be something this board needs to get involved in, but maybe coordination with the clerk. I don't know. Some of that remains to be seen. But So some of this stuff is in process of how you do things, some stuff is in your regulatory documents, you're gonna have to actually make some changes.
Well, yeah, the one that caught my attention was 2024 childcare industry. Not so much as in regards to the childcare industry, but I know Chris has been talking a lot about how the permitted uses that are in the zoning do not necessarily reflect updated stuff. And although I understand that, this will never be updated to reflect all of the updated stuff. And so this is the one that kind of poked my interest a little bit in regards to is this zoning, is this RSA change? Do we add childcare industry to this list and then it's allowed? Is that what this particular thing is kind of doing, or?
What this particular thing is, this one is doing is it's saying that, so like we have two types of home-based businesses. We have a minor and a major requires a site plan.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether we think someone's got a proposed home childcare business, whether we consider that major or minor,
Yeah.
we can't require a site plan review. They have to be able to proceed.
I didn't want to get into it that far. I was just wondering if that's the type of thing that gets added to this.
Oh,
From,
not really, because this one's covered, this particular one is covered by our home-based businesses.
Okay.
Use,
okay,
that's the use.
okay.
And you can have different kinds of home-based businesses.
Right.
But,
But
I
the-
guess we could add it and just say childcare, just to call it out. I guess we could do it that way. It might be one way to do it. You know, in the list of things that are allowed by right, you have single-family residence, you have shed and garage, and you have
Right.
home-based childcare. I guess we could do it that way, yeah. Or you could just say in the major, you're required to have a site plan review. The
I'm just
exemption-
asking the broader question, which is, of all of these new things that may be coming up that require that the state is saying has to be allowed now, I would think that would tend to find its way into permitted uses in the zoning ordinance, so they don't have to go to zoning board to get it approved,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
depending upon what it is, yes, certain ones I guess are saying that.
I mean, we put home occupations in the permitted use for residential, for instance. So under home occupations, then this can go to childcare industry. But if it was a commercial, I don't think we allow, I mean. Yeah, home businesses are not permitted in the town center district, as a for instance. So
Okay,
that would seem to mean that the childcare industry couldn't exist, at least by zoning, in the town center district. Not
Right.
saying that's acceptable or anything else, I'm just saying, kind of going through this, that's what I see. Same with commercial. It's not in commercial. So I'm just wondering, is the state's concept here one of those things that says we need to be adding more into the permitted uses area to allow for those types of things?
in some instances, yes.
Where appropriate, that's fine, but I mean.
Yeah, I'm still,
Skip, I like the way you pulled that out and jumped into the zoning ordinance, and that's really relevant. And, you know, you had to kind of look at why these bills were introduced, and, you know, it probably stems from I just come on a
Well,
meeting.
some sort
They
of-
have their baby in childcare, it's $370 a week, $370 a week for 3 days, part-time. And it's just like, how many hours do you have to work, you know, at, 40-hour week at, $22 an hour, once you take out all the other junk? to even pay for that to net zero, to put your kid in daycare for 3 days, and what do you do with the other 2 days you're working? It stems from affordability, affordable housing, you know, what's, people.
Oh, that's fine, we're not gonna solve that with zoning, alright? All I'm saying is the goal here to update our permitted uses to reflect nowadays type uses that presently is not in there. And the childcare industry would be one.
Yeah.
Back when this was created, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a
Yeah.
big deal. So
So-
now it is.
I mean, it's interesting, yeah.
But I'm not asking to put it in here. I'm just trying to figure out
Why?
how we put updated uses in here when 10 years from now, they may not be applicable. It's,
You just, I don't know, I guess you just make the changes.
So
I don't know.
I have a question, and I'm not certain that it's relevant, but at what point does the childcare industry move from home occupation to commercial?
When it's not.
Another
when
good
it's-
question.
When it's not in a home, when it's not an accessory use to a primary residence. Like if the person.
So what's that cutoff?
This
When
one,
they're not, when no one's living in that space.
Or there may be a number of kids, you know.
Well,
You could have 4 kids.
That's what I'm thinking
this
is,
particular one is home-based.
Well, so.
well, right.
We're not, I'm not talking home-based. I'm trying to look at the broader schedule like you
Well,
are.
Yeah, and so what I'm thinking is, okay, home occupation has to be accessory to a residential use. What defines that as accessory?
It's in a building that has a primary use of residential. As soon as it becomes the only use of that structure, then it becomes the primary use. But the state still has a lot of regulatory control over childcare. So you know,
Right.
you can't just you can't open up a 40 kid childcare facility in your house. They're gonna come in and make sure, I think it's, you know, like minimum square feet or minimum number of kids or maximum number of kids per student, or there's things, there's milestones, thresholds, whatever, that I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our regulation currently has up to 6 preschool and up to 3 school-age children. That's what
Is that what it,
in our ordinance,
okay,
and that's for under the home occupation.
Right.
So anything above that would be major or commercial.
Or commercial. And if it was commercial, it sounds like they have to come before the zoning board.
Yeah.
Because it's not permitted.
Right.
All right, so my question is that since it's on here, do we need to attempt to put that in our regs? And if we do, and the child and care industry goes bust, which is how some of these other ones have been in here and gotten in here, and they're still in here.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a living document, you make changes as time goes on.
Yeah, I know, but I don't,
I think you have to make changes to your regs to reflect the reality of what's going on out there.
let me
And
ask you
that
this.
might mean getting rid of some, that might mean adding some, but it's rare that new uses get introduced.
Well, yeah, but lately that's, the senior facility housing is a new one.
To you guys, but it's not new to the state.
No, but it's not in our permitted uses, which is
Sure.
what Chris has been talking
Sure, yeah.
about, okay? The, Nottingham Business Park, same deal. There aren't things in here that are applicable and appropriate to that, so he has to go to the zoning
You
board
have
to
to go
do
to the
that.
ZBA to get a,
And he mentioned that every time he's been in here. So I'm just looking at it and saying, what is the list? What should the list reflect? And is there a state list that we can just reference? And then they change it all the time? I mean,
If you go and look at some other zoning ordinances, you'll see how they present it, you know? Some present it as a table and they list each district and they tell you whether it's allowed in that district or not. You look across the table.
Yep.
We don't really have that many districts to justify doing a table, but maybe we start thinking about having a better organization of it.
I'm talking about the items, the items themselves.
Yeah.
Because if it's on the list, they don't have to come to the zoning board.
So I'm gonna send, everybody, I think, I'm not sure if I have everybody, but I'll send it to you and then you can forward it too. A list, from the New Hampshire Association of Realtors, the, Public Policy Committee, and they kind of write some laws and coach the legislators on laws and support and oppose, and it's very interactive. So I did get a list of recent law changes from our New Hampshire Association president. We also have the New Hampshire Municipal Association, and they are gonna put a list together. I think I saw one. And then I also get one from New Hampshire Builders Association. And they each have their own slightly different perspective on what bills might affect their industry. You know, the building might talk about insulation, which we don't care about, but, you know, the municipal association might. So I'll send what I have gotten, just so there's a kind of list, and I'll send it to Blair too, so he has that, and he could bounce it back, to his people. We should update our table of uses. We should do some updates on the zoning. We could look at other, I mean, I look at other town zoning all the time, so I see a lot of different, it's like a scavenger hunt. Every time you go to a town to do something, it's like, let's go through hundreds of pages of regulations and words. One little word can change the underlying meaning of a whole ordinance, and every single town has a different set of rules. So, you know, a lot of people are, we hear, like, from the real estate commission perspective, when we're up there, we hear a lot from the municipal association. Well, we don't want to take away the town's powers and controls, but when you look at what the towns have done, there's 238 different towns with 238 different sets of rules. It's a nightmare. So can we get more?
My brain wraps around the fact that if you don't see somebody come in and look for some sort of a permitted use, then we don't need it. That's my perverted brain. But at the same time, when they come in the first time to the zoning and ask for the to be permitted to do that, then there should be consideration at that point in time as to whether or not that is a permitted use, and then we add it to the list. That's the
Kind
way
of
I
like
look
the
at it.
Nottingham Business Park?
Huh?
Kind of like Nottingham Business Park?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we need to take from whatever that is, or,
Yeah.
was, and determine what the best parts of that are to put in here.
Sure.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's the way I see it. So I'm kind of looking at it the same way with the childcare industry. That's booming right now, and I don't know that we've had anybody come in to ask for that in any way, shape, or form through the zoning ordinances. And so I'm looking at it and saying, okay, we shouldn't be putting this particular one into our permitted uses yet, because nobody's come in for that. But the stuff that's in here needs to be added into our home occupation.
Well, I mean, if somebody that wants to do something, they're gonna go to the zoning ordinance to see if it's allowed. If it's not, they're gonna go to the next community. So we're
Next
missing
town.
opportunities.
We are,
Well,
yeah, I agree.
I hear you, except that my discussions with Chris is if it's not permitted uses, they're not coming in. And I like that idea. I mean, it's not a good idea to have. I'm just saying that there should be some sort of decent presentation that's provided to the town that says, we think this is a good deal for the town and this should be a permitted use.
But you're not gonna get that from a private entity, because they have to wait for it to go through town meeting, and it may not go through. They're not gonna.
And that's my point exactly, is that this list is stupid to be in here, because it can't be changed except at town meeting.
No, the point of having the list is to preemptively allow uses
Okay.
with something, with some regulations, and then when someone comes in with that use, then you address it. Then you address their specific proposal.
Okay,
That's how a zoning
So-
ordinance works.
well, true, but so what is it that we want to have in town?
Well, that's what the master plan is for.
Well,
That's what those
So
conversations
let's
have.
Skip, let's apply this to elderly housing, okay? 30% of our town is elderly. Most of us on this planning board would fit into 55-plus housing, maybe? I mean, I don't know, some of us would, okay, I don't know, I would. We have no specifically 55-plus housing in our town, and we have nothing in our zoning about it at all.
fair.
So that's why we have none. So Deerfield,
That may be why we have none, yes.
if you want to bring elderly housing in, then you come in and you put 2 acres per dwelling unit. That's what's allowed. You can put elderly housing or just call it elderly and put it on a 2-acre lot like all the other people that are building houses. And you could choose as a builder to limit your market to only 55 plus, and, you know, where the other builder next door to you is, you know, marketing to any buyer at any age and a $700,000 house or $750,000 house. So there's no incentive for anybody to do that. There's no benefit to saying, I want to put 55 plus housing. 55 plus housing, people that are older might not want 2 or 3 or 4 acres of land to take care of and pay taxes on and maintain, and they might like to have a 1/4 acre and, you know, here's my plot, I have my garden, it takes me 15 minutes to mow, I don't have a heart attack taking care of my property, I can retire and play golf, I could travel, and whatever it is, and their golden years, and we have nothing like that. And if we don't have anything like that, look at Deerfield has elderly housing, they've got a bunch of it, and it's in their zoning ordinance. And, Epping, going the other way, all kinds of, tons of 55 plus housing. And, some of these are 400,000, 500,000, Raymond too. Half of the price of the brand new houses. So we're doing a disservice to our people that live in this town by saying, hey, we don't give any advantage to any person that's older or younger starting out or affordable. We only want expensive homes. That's what we're saying to people. And that's what we're getting. Our average new home is $750,000. And that's not affordable. The average income, the average price in this town is like $583,000 last time I checked. I don't know what it is today, but which is only 59% of the people that live here can afford that. So we're already priced out of the affordable range. So it just, something needs to be done, and somebody needs to, and everybody's like, oh, let the other town deal with that with their reg, but we're here, we should be doing something, we should be proactive. But we could sit and wait and change, wait until someone comes up with an idea, elderly housing, and applies for a variance and goes to zoning, then has to go to town meeting, and 2 years later, they might get it. Meanwhile, this person that's selling this piece of land that could be developed is going, I don't want to wait for 2 years for them to go through all this gyrations to get this approved. I'm going to sell it to somebody else, the other builder who's just going to build on it. And it's just,
All that is good.
we need to do something.
Except that I think all of those other examples that you gave, the towns, there was somebody that was in that industry that came before the town and suggested that evolution. I guarantee you that's what it is.
No, I can guarantee you it's the opposite.
Oh,
It's done, the zoning ordinance is driven by the people of the town. It's just, that's how it works. I mean,
If I can
The-
offer
the board is.
counterpoint. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Condominiums are allowed everywhere in the state. If someone wanted to do a 55 plus, community, they would be perfectly well within their rights to do it up as a condominium with limited common elements and so on and so forth, and have that as a 55 plus community as part of their bylaws in the condominium regs. there's nothing that prevents them from doing that.
2 acres per unit,
Well,
No. No,
no? In this town?
it's, okay.
I think you have to permit, I think you have to, I think,
The lots are required to be at least 2 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Each limited common element or unit does not.
Such as a duplex.
Correct.
You need 4 acres for a duplex.
Can we reel this back in?
Yeah.
Sorry.
yeah, I wanna,
We're way down a rabbit hole.
yeah, I wanna stay on a high, we'll try and stay on a high level here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we can deliberate, but I did wanna just introduce you to the document, and then you guys can start considering it, and then maybe
Yeah, no.
the next month, we'll start looking at it. Cause I hear you, this is what it's gonna be, we're gonna be, this is the conversation we're gonna have for the next couple months.
Yeah.
Some good debate. But what I do wanna focus on, what I also wanna, bring up is that we have those, the legislative changes. I will make sure that you all get the email so that you can look at those as well. Again, because I do want to prioritize those. Just because it gives Dale a lot of agita to have, to not have a document that reflects what the law is. And it just makes things a lot smoother and easier. And then if you are allowed to put restrictions on something, we have more legal standing to do something like that. All right, so that's generally like what that document is. Again, there are a list of potential changes. I want to reiterate that because these are not Blair Haney's wish list. I know I'm the one that's been kind of maintaining the document. These are just things that either you have said, something that I've noticed within our document that might be contradictory, or maybe something that Dale has said. So that's what this document intends to accomplish. All right. The other, so there's a couple things that aren't listed on the agenda, but they're just part of the other business.
sure,
Can I go through them?
sure.
All right. There is a Mylar over there that everybody needs to sign. It's for 163 Stevens Road. All of the appeals are done, and so that has been recorded, and now it's moving forward. So I do want to get that, make sure that we get that done. The other thing that I wanted to ask you all about and get your feedback on was the road agreement for the Bassett subdivision. So there's a few rounds of back and forth of what that language looks like. I drafted the original one, I sent it to Ellen, I sent it to Kevin. I got comments back, sent it back out, got a few more comments back. And so now there's something I'm a little bit unclear about, that was brought to my attention, and I just want to see what the board's intentions were when they made the decision. The subject parcel was 70-25. It got subdivided into lot 70-25 and then 70-25-5. Those are the two lots. My presumption is that the board did intend for this road agreement to include both lots, because both of them do have frontage on Channel Street. So this road agreement would sort of cover the full length of Channel Street, which would include both lots. I kind of figured that. This, including that new lot, 70-25-5, that has frontage on Duluth Dam Road as well. So does this road agreement, is it intended to include Duluth Dam Road as well? Because the idea was, is that you have the road, the right of way. This is to give the town permission to address maintenance issues or stuff that may require them to go outside of the right of way onto their private property. So if a piece of equipment needs to swing around, or they need to lay down some materials to put something in, or if there's a tree on the private property that's hanging over the road, something like that.
Or the fact that the gravel is already outside the right of way.
There you go. Yeah, that was the intention. And this, I would imagine this issue also applies to Duluth Dam Road. So, I just wanna make sure that if I include Dolph Dam Road, in this road agreement that the board, you know, I don't want the board to think I'm making decisions or anything like that, so I wanna just double check.
This, Kevin has frontage on all these other roads. Is that?
Correct.
But it's only this parcel that's being subdivided, which abuts Dolph Dam Road and Channel. So that's really all we can address in this agreement, correct?
Yeah, all we're talking about is that, yeah, is
Right.
what these two new parcels,
From his lot line to the others, you know, around the corner to the other lot line.
yes, it doesn't go all the way, it doesn't
Right.
include all of Dolph Dam, it's just the
Right,
part
it's
that
just
fronts.
the lot line to Channel, and then down Channel to the end of the lot line.
Yeah.
The second lot line.
But Dolph Dam was not part of what you guys looked at, right, for this?
Correct, because that was all about the whole that started as the name change and all, and that was before I was on that board,
Right.
so I don't know the history there. But when I looked at it, and so I'm like, and I unfortunately missed that meeting that you guys did that, I was like, we're missing Dolph Dam Road.
So Blair, is the point that if Kevin agrees to adopt and we can all define what this 25-foot right-of-way on several roads, wouldn't that be beneficial to the overall town if he's in agreement with that? Or is he opposing that idea and only trying to?
I haven't presented it to him, it was
Okay.
brought to my attention in the second iteration, which I have yet to turn around and send back to them. But I don't wanna send it back to him with this assumption that this is what everybody intended, so I thought I'd use tonight to check it.
Yeah, I think Dolph Dam
So-
should be included and, you know, but not all the full extent.
Yeah, the language reads it
Just
reads-
those two lots.
Yeah.
Right.
The frontage on those two
Right.
lots.
Frontage on those two lots.
We
Yep.
reference the two lots, and then we say, applies to the entire length of Channel Street and an approximate 510-foot segment of Dolph Dam Road that intersects with Channel Street, adjacent to and along what is now known as map, 70 lot 25-5. So,
So, if I can just, one thing, the select board, when they determined the right of way, did it only for Channel Street,
Correct.
not for any of the other roads.
Correct, because it
Therefore-
was a defining
Yep.
of that new, it was, I don't know the whole history, but it was, the point was to define the layout of Channel Street.
straight,
Yep, because it wasn't defined
Right.
anywhere. I don't know if Dolph Dam Road is defined or not, but there
It's
was,
not.
so why that was not included at that point, I have no idea, and
None of the roads down there are defined.
Yeah.
That's,
right, it's,
so it's going to be something that the
I
select
mean,
board's gonna
some
have
of
to
them
deal with.
are defined in some respects, but, it may be parts of them, and then it's not, and then defined again, but, it's a hard, and that's why I think it's important to include this, at least to say, we can worry about the quote-unquote right-of-way later, or whatever, with the actual width of what the right-of-way is if it comes up.
So has the select board adopted a policy to say that whenever, because you guys are in charge of the roads,
We
That
already
would-
have, there's already a policy in here, something, right, that if there's a subdivision, we're supposed to have a 50-foot road, so that was a mistake whenever it was done, when that should have been 50 foot. Dolph Dam Road, from that lot line all the way around Channel Street, that should be defined as a 50-foot way. And, it's currently in our stuff. Why it was agreed to before that, I don't know. That was before my time on that board.
Okay, so right now the consensus would be to include the Dolph Dam.
okay, I will send it to them. I'm assuming they're gonna be okay with it,
Yeah.
they may come back with something different, but at least I know and I can send this off, since it was brought to my attention, and, you know, see where it ends up.
And that's the frontage of 72 on Dolph Dam, right? To be clear?
Yes, it does say, an approximate 510-foot segment of Dolph Dam Road that intersects with Channel Street, adjacent to and along what is now known as map 70 lot 25-5. So it's saying,
A subdivided parcel.
Right, the subdivided parcel.
yeah, the new parcel.
We can only,
Well, no, I know, but when the road became public, there was one lot on the right-hand side of Channel Street. One lot, right?
Yep.
And he divided that into two,
right,
and the furthest lot is then 72. That would,
No, it stayed the same. It stayed 70-25. The new one,
no, I'm sorry, 70-25, and then 70-25-5
yeah, I know.
is the further one.
It's the one that's at the intersection of Channel and Dolph.
And Dolph, oh, okay.
look,
Yeah, so I guess
Oh, yeah.
technically you'd probably see that one first, unless you
I
came
don't
by
know if this
sea.
is the up-to-date one or not.
Yeah, C2, I've always thought is the furthest one. And here's the Dolph Dam Road down here
Right,
on one.
so
That's,
this is the, I don't know what date this is, but this is the one I have.
Oh, this was a much earlier iteration.
Yeah, but I don't think the lot lines would have changed. Do you think they would have reversed them?
Yeah, because it's on the plans now as 70-25 and
Okay.
70-25-5.
So,
Yeah,
but the
so then
intent,
go by the plan.
yeah,
the
we have to.
intent is
Yeah.
the frontage of both of those lots.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct, yeah. Yeah, sorry, Skip, I forgot that that's what it used to be. No, as far as the listing of the numbers, no, the last iteration, is the one that we approved, and it had 70-25 and 70-25-5. How they got there,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's probably up on the,
So, I'm trying to figure out why it became -5.
Let's not go.
I know, but who assigns that?
that
Over
way,
there.
that way for future use.
Is that
Reserve-
over there
I
someplace?
have a feeling it is over there, but I can't guarantee you on that.
We don't typically do that, so I just,
Reserved for future use.
there used to be a, process for doing that, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I will relay the message back to them, with Kevin, and hopefully I can get this banged out. Glenn just reminded me it's 60 days, not 90 days, so I do have to get going. I mean,
Right, yeah, we're
I had
hoping-
this produced,
We're hoping to be able to approve that on the agreement next meeting, so what,
on the 4th.
the 4th, I believe, yeah.
All right, I will work with Kevin. What I do know is that if Kevin agrees with them, we're fine, because,
Right,
Ellen, you know, is the one that sent this to me, so. All right, I'll make a note of that, I will get that out to him tomorrow.
so that one's later than this one.
Perfect. All right, so,
Do that.
thank you for that. So everything else that I wanted to go over is really just discussions, you know, to start discussions. Right, so, oh, right, the bond, okay, no, that's the thing that we have to
We have
talk
to do
about.
the bond.
Jeez, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Everybody has a couple memos from over there, from Ellen. If you can pull out the one, they're both dated today. The one that's Pawtuckaway Ridge. So, Ellen was kind enough to scratch together a summary memo covering it, because this is, she's been managing a lot of this. But at this stage, it comes back to us as the board. The select board approved a bond amount for the Pawtuckaway Ridge project for the roadway and all the drainage infrastructure and everything. With CMA's help, there's a lot of back and forth, but they agreed on something. And it was $1.6 million-ish. They've done a lot of work. CMA has done a lot of inspections. I know you were forwarded a link that had the inspections in it, the inspection reports. But, you know, we're now at a point where Chinburg, the developer, is asking for a major reduction in the bond amount, which is kind of how it goes. As they build stuff out, it gets signed off on by CMA, then they ask for a bond reduction. Go ahead, John.
When did you send the link for that?
For well, I sent the link from CMA for their field inspection reports.
Oh, the one a long time ago?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you maybe sent a new link with new updates.
No,
Okay, sorry.
no.
That's why, I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
I didn't miss a mail that,
Yeah, you
Okay.
got that. And then on Sunday, Ellen emailed you all with a lot of the information that's physically in front of you.
Right.
In the way of emails and stuff. But she was, again, kind enough to print it out so that we can look at it, because it would be nice to get a vote, but it's the board's decision. So they want to get,
This is a bond reduction.
it's a bond reduction
They
request.
posted a bond
Yes.
for whatever X amount is. They've done a bunch of work, and based on the percentages that have been agreed on by the inspection, engineering firm, and I'm not sure if anyone else looked anything out in the field to make sure that these are correct, but this is based on what the
Been a lot of
engineering
work.
firm is.
Yeah.
So there's a
There's
lot of
been a
work
ton
that's
of
been
work
done,
done.
so they wanna reduce that bond, cause they're paying on that bond,
Right.
so they wanna get it reduced. And
understand
the
that.
reductions, although reviewed and gone through by
CMA.
CMA and.
They only have one change, towards the bottom of this document. It says,
The 75%,
yeah,
Infiltration ponds 1 and 2.
so they're not done with those ponds.
no, they're not. So he was saying that percent complete should be 75%, not 100%.
So they're recommending a bond reduction of $508,000 for
That-
$541.60.
that's the recommended to that amount.
Okay, so the reduction is not that, but it's reduce it to that amount.
1.1 million reduction.
Give or take,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And then she put in the, relevant town regulation relative to, the board's role here, release of performance guarantee. So,
So basically, if the contractor leaves right now, there's $508,000 worth of work left
yes,
that the bond would cover.
that's correct.
Right. So it's the planning board has to approve that, bond adjustment amount.
That's correct. It looks like, if you look at the very, very bottom, there's actually maybe only $200,000 worth of work yet, but we keep a 10% contingency, which is what brings it back up to, well, it says 499, but it's 508 because of that change up above.
Right, yeah. 'cause that was
So
like-
we're pretty covered. If there's only $200,000 worth of work yet, but we've got a $500,000 bond, I think the community is pretty covered.
So could somebody make a motion to approve the adjusted bond amount? We to
Just,
that point?
just one thing.
Sure.
The date on the memo, is 7/23/23, not 25. Just making sure that that's noted. Both of the memos.
So just as just a discussion, so I understand this, CMA, has been following the progress and doing, inspections which we never know about.
No, you have them now.
We have them now. Okay, so this is their list of inspections that they've done of this site through this whole process, to say this is what is done and what is not done.
That's correct.
Okay. And they've identified what is not done on the town's behalf. Is that correct?
Yes.
And provided us with this list, and then they differentiated slightly in the Chinburg estimate or something,
Yes.
as discrepancy.
Yes. That'd be a fair summary.
All right, and we have no other means of relying on figuring out what this bond amount is except for with CMA, and they've communicated with Ellen on this, so now you're saying it's our duty as planning board to take this and make a vote on this?
Correct.
Is everybody satisfied that CMA did what they need to do?
I hope so, that's their job.
It's a job, that's why they're getting paid.
That's why we hired them.
And so they're getting paid by who?
They're getting paid by the
developer.
the developer,
To do
which
inspections?
gets escrowed through the town.
Right.
All right, so-
But we
Which is
hired
very
them, correct?
We hire them.
Yes, they're hired through us, they're contracted.
Hired through us, but paid through them.
paid through them, okay, good, so, make a motion then.
All right, I will make a motion to, reduce the bond amount for the Pawtuckaway Ridge Performance Bond, to a value of $508,541.60 per CMA's recommendation.
Dated.
Oh, dated 7/23/25.
I'll second.
And I'll
Motion and
second
a
that.
second. Oh, we got a second?
Oh, third.
Third? Any more discussion? Those in favor, gonna get aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
And just for clarification, as you
It's
said.
2025, not
Yeah,
23.
as you said at the beginning, this is one way of doing the roads. We have other ones in town that aren't done this particular way. But that's going to the next item, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Right? So there's kind of two ways of doing this. One is to do it all yourself, kind of, with no bond. And the other way is to do it because you're gonna sell lots and build homes and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, the law doesn't require a bond until you pull a building permit for a house.
Yep.
Or you sell a lot.
No, Blair, they have two houses up there on
Yeah.
Pawtuckaway Ridge.
That's why they have a
That's why they
bond.
have the bond.
That's why they have a bond.
Alright, so I was of the understanding that it's, in some towns, they require it when you wanna get a CO.
The state law states pull a building permit.
Okay,
Because in order to build on a lot, it has to have frontage on a class 5 road or better. If you don't have, what's that?
Unless you have a waiver for a class 6.
Oh, right. Which is now easier to get for the new RSAs. But let's go back, let's pretend we're back in time. Let's pretend we're in 2023 and we're having this conversation for the sake of this conversation, to not have all these
Sorry.
caveats. Yes, you need to have, in order for the building inspector to be able to give you a permit, you have to be on an approved road. So,
okay, check, okay, I just wanted to click CO or building permit, but now I
Yeah.
understand the slight difference there,
Yeah.
okay.
So Chris,
Yes.
the road over here,
Which is what we can talk about now.
no, the Camelot Court.
Oh, sorry, yes.
That was back 20 years ago. And the CO, I think, was the important piece at that point in time, not the building permit.
Right.
Just as an example.
And in Manchester, they didn't require, on a project that I did, they didn't require the bond until, you wanted a CO. And the building was going gangbusters and up until that point,
Yeah.
but nobody was moving in. And Raymond and another project, they wanted some of the stuff done to give the building permits. Mostly life safety, cisterns and yada yada, underground utilities and drainage structures.
So counterpoint, I did a job recently in Milton where there was going to be a road going up into the project, going to make stay a private road, but the town still wanted a bond before they would approve it.
Yeah, as they should, because
Right,
the
exactly.
town's left with the scar and the
Right.
drainage problems and the
Right.
unmitigated disaster. But,
Yep.
So we're.
for whatever reason, the state legislature changed it, and now they have made it infinitely easier for developers to start and do projects, without putting a bond up.
So how do we see that work for, like, we can mention a certain road that you live on? With a private road that's being proposed, we're gonna be requiring them to have a bond, for example?
Well, again,
I recused myself on that one.
state law, state law dictates you can't require a bond until they ask for a building permit or they go to sell lots, which brings us to the next conversation. DeBerto, Mitchell Road subdivision. The roads are Captain Smith and the new one is Lipizen. You might remember this one because we made a recent decision to allow him to get permission to do those 2 extra lots that are technically in Barrington while the road is in Nottingham. That was an amendment to a previous approval. The original approval was to create those roads, Captain Smith and Lipizen. That has started. They have started the construction. We have CMA under contract to review it. We have some field notes from them
They have started the construction of what?
of the road.
Okay.
But we were of the impression that, or one of the things that we wanted from them as part of the notice of decision was a statement of values to get the process started to get a bond, because their project predates the zone, the state law change. So we felt like it still applied, but we didn't have anything from them. We now have a statement of values. I made some comments back to Ellen. She got some comments from CMA, but they have not, and they've been forwarded on to DeBerto, but we have not heard anything back. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I've had another inquiry from someone looking to buy a lot, because the lots are clearly for sale. The question becomes, at what point, like specifically in time, do we demand this bond? Is it at the point at which they go to closing and he's sold the lot?
That's technically the change of hands, is at the closing.
But now that person's bought a lot with the assumption
Well,
that the road will get finished and everything will be
right,
hunky-dory.
so they should have the bond in place before they could actually close.
But we don't, but is there a trigger mechanism that we can that it's legally defensible to say, well, okay, you're under agreement, right? And this is also a private transaction. How would we even know about this if someone didn't call us up? Like, I only know this because they sent a message into Alana asking about it, right? So,
It would behoove the purchaser to make sure that they can get a building permit and that the town planning board conditions are done, and,
you would hope that they would do their due diligence, but
Right.
not every buyer is a savvy buyer.
Right.
Definitely not.
Especially in a market right now where people feel a little bit of desperation to just get something, right? So, I agree with you, but that's not always the case. And, part of our job is, goal is to protect people from unsavory business practices as best we can, within our regulatory
So
guardrails.
in Ellen's memo, it mentions that on July 3rd, Mr. DeBerto transferred several of his lots to a trust, which to me, that's identical to selling.
It is.
That
You are
should
correct,
trigger,
right, that should have triggered it.
that should trigger it right there.
I agree. I don't know more enough about this, but yes, I thought so too.
and wasn't
I
our
don't know.
Wasn't our planning board decision predicated on him putting up this bond within 30 days and they didn't do it? So has that since expired, and have we sent a termination of that decision?
Believe
Yes,
what
we
we
have.
sent was, you are in violation because you were supposed to have sent us a statement of values. He came in the next day and gave it to them. And I think the notice of decision only said a statement of values. It didn't say nope, that's not it.
But it appears we're going forward anyway,
We are,
regardless.
we're in a better position than we were before he got the approval, but we're still trying to,
But I kinda thought it was dead, and it has regained legs, right?
which part?
I mean,
The project's not dead, I mean, he's got an approval, he owns the land, but,
Well, I mean, the conditions of our approval were not met, right?
yeah.
And-
it
And
was
he didn't
emailed-
meet them, and yet we're still, it's just fine, there's nothing, it just keeps going?
I feel
What's
like
the
we should
point of having
we should have a cease and desist letter for him, you know?
Right.
Seems
I mean,
like that's what should happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
the change to the trust triggered the land use change tax.
Right.
So it should be the same thing, it's a sale.
Yeah.
It is legal sale.
so, Alana sent an email. Alright, so the notice of decision says applicant must submit a schedule of values to select board within 30 days, so 30 days of notice of decision. That passed. Alana sent a message to Barrington with a copy of them on it, to Mr. Gilberto. And, cause it's right here in the top of,
Yep.
you know, her memo saying, you know, he came in, the next day before noon following an email from Alana, notifying that he was in violation of the conditions of approval.
But he already had the notice of decision with that 30 days, so Alana's follow-up email saying, you didn't meet it, it's, you know, the conditions of approval haven't been met, that's not the trigger for him to come in and keep things going. It's the initial approval that we gave with conditions that he do things within a certain period of time.
Right.
And if those haven't happened, we can't just ignore it and let things
So-
slide, that's
Right.
not how it works.
So his approval is null and void,
Yeah,
because he didn't meet the conditions.
exactly.
I agree.
And I thought that's what Alana had sent to
Yeah, I gotta find
Yeah,
the email,
to
but.
Barrington Planning Board.
My understanding as well.
Yeah.
He has to reapply.
Yep.
I can carry that message forward and send it on to them. What I also, you know, I really wanna get the bond in place, right, because they are doing the work. And this is applying to them. And I think this transfer to the Lone Oak Trust thing is probably the thing that gives us the strongest legal footing to require this.
yeah, there's two things here, I think, if we're understanding these packets correctly.
I agree with you,
Right.
yeah.
When he put it in a trust, that started the ball rolling for the performance bond, correct?
I'm sorry, say that again, I'm sorry.
The transferring it to the trust creates, if you will, a sale,
Yeah,
and that means we now need the performance bond.
yes,
Well, that's the second way to get the performance bond.
I agree, there's,
Yeah, I'm not,
It'd be great if we had it before that.
Right, we were supposed to, well, we set a standard for us to get the initial performance bond based on our decision,
correct.
and then him doing the, transferring it to the trust sets it off in the current state law, so either way he argues, he should have a performance bond.
Which
Yeah,
it sounds like he does. He's got it here because it was delivered the day after it expired.
But
Not
no,
yet.
is that, no, there's no bond, that's just a
it's
statement of
just-
values.
it's just a schedule of values.
So he doesn't have a bond.
No, he does not. That's all that was required as part of the notice of decision.
Okay.
The board didn't go so far as to say this approval for the two lots is conditional on a bond, it was conditional on a statement of values. Because that kind of gets the ball rolling, gets us going in the right direction, that's what the board agreed to.
But I think that the fact that he missed that deadline, you know, he should need to reapply.
Yes.
And
Alana,
that work should stop until such time as he gets a new approval.
So Alana sent an email on the 28th that included, that was basically sent to the town of Barrington, but it did include Chris Berry and maybe, yeah, because I don't think we have an email for Mr. DeBerto directly, but Nottingham Planning Board had approved 25-007 with the condition that Mr. DeBerto provide a schedule of values for the road. So the performance bond could be calculated by our engineering firm. This condition was not met, therefore the case is not approved. Please see the attached decision. So
Okay,
she,
right, so she did not.
she wrote a pretty definitive email
Yeah,
to
case
the
is
town of
not
Barrington
approved.
that his 2 lots are not approved as far as we're concerned for not meeting our conditions.
Right.
Correct.
So, now, of course, Alan says he came in the next day with that statement of values,
But that doesn't make it approved.
Should have come in the
Right.
day before with.
and the statement of values
Yeah.
is itself not even approved because CMA, I mean, you can see the,
They came up with something rather different.
yeah, CMA came up with other values,
Right.
which is, it's supposed to be an iterative process. So, all right, so
What does the state law say about, for our zoning regs, I get, but I don't know this bonding, RSA as you do. What does that say with regards to conveyances before, you said building permits or, what are we looking at? What RSA are we looking at?
I don't know what I know, but I can tell you in a second. I know it's SB 78 from 2024 to 2023.
This book.
All right.
Is it in
This
book?
is 67436 is the RSA that's been changed.
Right on your first, item number 2 on your list.
And this is pretty good, huh?
Not bad.
Yes, 67436 relative to performance bonding.
672,
674,
674,
37.
back, 674, 36, 674, 36. Page 432, starting-ish. Which one am I looking at? Subdivision regs.
Road bonding. I don't know.
I need to pinch this to make it bigger.
The temptation is always there, especially like pictures. Oh my god.
What's wrong with them?
I want those Harry Potter books.
Alright, so this is what the RSA now says under IV, what's that, 4? So 36,
IV, 4?
36 IV, 4.
Yeah, okay,
You gotta read through the paragraph. It's like the second sentence. A planning board shall allow road and utility construction to start without a bond. However, a bond for the infrastructure, roads and utilities must be in place prior to the sale of any parcel of land within the subdivision or a request for a building permit for structures for human occupation, so a dwelling permit. So that's what we're dealing with here. It's very vague. It says prior to the sale of any parcel of land. I mean, that's a, oh, whatever.
Conveyance to a trust is a sale. So he's in violation of that RSA.
yep,
Well,
yep.
these are all dated 5/27/25. This is the schedule. So that was prior to his,
Yeah, but he's gotta have the bond in place. This
And he
is
didn't
enough.
submit it. He didn't submit it.
I mean, Ellen says she didn't get it until 5/28 or 9 or whatever.
23.
So, yeah, you know, Barry's is dated 5/25, but that doesn't mean we had it in hands, and it's not even approved.
Right.
It's just them submitting, they could have submit $5 to us, you know, and that would not, you know, would that have met
Right.
the
Bond approved.
so.
prior to sale. Okay.
I think there's enough to say that, you know, at least put it forward, or maybe, you know, if you wanna put it before the town council, but I think there's enough that, the town has enough footing to stand on, that there was a transfer of ownership of lots, which should trigger this bond requirement per the RSA.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it says pretty clearly, the bond must be in place prior to the sale of any parcel of land within the subdivision.
And a
that's
transfer-
pretty clearly what happened.
Even a transfer has to have, any contract has to have consideration, so even if it's $1, that's a sale, right?
Yeah.
So transfer is not a word in this
Right.
operation, it's a sale.
Sale, yeah, right.
So, because there's always consideration in a contract. So, I think this would meet the letter of 674-36-4. So that conversation can be started because of that,
For,
requiring the bond.
Right.
right, but only for that subdivision that was approved previously.
I know, I'm just about to pivot, yeah,
All right.
I agree with you. What-
Sorry.
What, yeah, no, no, you and I were in the same place, we're in the same place. The next question is where does that leave us with the two extra lots?
It was clearly denied in that letter, or disapproved, or whatever.
Or it was brought to his attention and sent to the town of Barrington, it did not, that he did not meet the conditions of the approval,
Right.
so.
So then
I haven't been around when,
And she said therefore disapproved, right?
yeah,
But his conditions from Barrington were to
Get approval.
Get approval
Yeah.
from
So
Nottingham.
So he can't do
by
it.
that fact,
Chain
his
reaction.
Yeah.
approval in Barrington should not be
Right.
valid.
I mean, yeah, Nebo connection, but you kind of think that, I haven't followed up with Barrington, but I doubt he has either. I mean, I think he's,
My concern is Ellen may not know.
about that transfer and what that
I mean,
does.
it's listed here, but I'm hoping this is just the previous subdivision, for the previous subdivision, not that request for the other two lots, the driveway for the other two lots in Barrington.
What do you mean?
I'm hoping this does not get misconstrued to be, you do now have the performance bond, so therefore we can do the,
No.
No,
well,
There's no bond.
No bond.
no bond.
Yeah.
not yet.
Not
But
yet.
this is gonna turn into a bond, I'm
Oh.
assuming, we're going forward with this.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
And I don't see anything here that indicates that other thing with Barrington,
No, I think if
is it
the notice of decision conditions were not met, then that is
correct?
a vacated decision. And if the applicant still wants to pursue it, they have that right to, but they have to come back before you with a new submission, and we have to go through the whole process again.
Or they should
But the
have
previous
applied
deci-
for an extension and said, hey, you know, we didn't meet that deadline.
They didn't apply for it,
They
it was,
did, so that's over, they do it again, but
Yep.
Yeah, there would have been ways to.
Should we
remedy-
make a determination here that gets passed on to Ellen and other parties about that? So that there's an official record of it?
I think we already
I
have
think
the
we just
official
did, I
record.
mean, we
Yeah.
Okay.
we agreed with
It's,
it, it's an
you know,
official
and-
record now, it just, and it was
And there
already
was a
translated.
letter, the letter clearly says disallowed, or
Yeah.
whatever.
And I think that what we should do as a board is follow up and, you know, send Mr. DeBerto a cease and desist saying, hey, you need to stop because you're, you know, you haven't met the conditions, and so your approval was disallowed.
Right, but I think that's just, like, if I understand what Skip was trying to say, that is actually a separate piece than
and
the
this,
driveway. So the driveway application
Yes.
into Barrington is disallowed because he didn't meet the criteria.
Correct.
This is the road bond. He shouldn't be doing any of this work without a bond on the road because he's made sale of property.
Correct.
Correct. I think there's
I
two
think
separate,
both of those things are,
I think there's two
driveway application, yes, good point.
two ways to, well, there has to be two ways to approach this because there's two separate things. I guess it would be the select board that would enforce the original, the bond part, right?
Probably, yeah.
And then maybe this group would send a letter. Do you think another letter needs to come from the board, not Alana, to Roberto to say,
Yeah, I think it needs to be
Yeah.
clear, yeah.
okay,
About the driveway thing,
yes.
that's fine. I wouldn't disagree with that. I don't know it's necessary, but I'd be fine with a follow-up letter to say, hey, pursuant to this letter, you've been notified. We just wanted to restate that this has been disapproved. And to do that again, you're gonna have to reapply.
And I think that we should also send a copy of it to, the Barrington Planning
Right,
Board.
Yeah.
To make sure that they have it.
I think that would make things very clear.
I think I heard a motion there and,
I don't
As-
make motions as a select board
oh,
person.
that's,
Well, we don't need to vote on it, we just need to take action.
Right, it's not,
There's
I
nothing
can,
to
what I
vote
will do
on.
is I'll draft something and send it to you.
Yeah,
And including the words driveway application, I think is the important aspect of it.
Right.
Cause it's two separate things.
Mhm.
This is fine going forward to do the performance bond.
right,
This is fine. But don't think that just because you got this, you're gonna get your diaper.
right. And now we have to do something, the select board may have to do something as far as following up with getting that performance bond,
Are those-
cease and desist or whatever.
And
I don't
that's
know
why
how
I think
that
it's
part-
your guys' territory, because you can tell Dale
They'll
to
just,
do an enforcement. We can't instruct Dale, this
Right.
group cannot instruct Dale to do a cease and desist enforcement.
so,
You guys
I could,
Would you like a letter from us?
I'll send Ellen a text.
I'll send them a copy of the VHS tape, then let them figure it out.
well, I think it's certainly appropriate to, you know, continue the communication about the schedule of values, is that we had our engineers review the schedule of value and would like to take it to the next level, but there's something else here,
Please note.
yeah.
Well, are those sales valid or invalid then? Are they legal, lawful sales, conveyances, or not?
It's,
It's
that's,
not for us to determine that.
this is what I would, yeah, what Dirk said, but it was why I was asking if you got, in the beginning of this conversation, where do you think in this process, the exact moment of all the steps, we can insert ourselves and require the bond, because a private sale, we would never know about.
Correct.
There's nothing to tell us about that. You know, that's an arm's length transaction, they can run it through the registry of deeds, all of that can happen, and we would never know about it until the new owner comes in and tries to apply for a building permit and is told, we need a bond from the guy you bought it off of.
We need a road.
Yeah, exactly. And that person now owns the lot. It's recorded as a deed in the registry. They would have, I don't know what kind of recourse they would have. I really don't. Unless they had a really savvy lawyer that put in some conditions, you know. But, you know, as Chris said, you should do your due diligence, but, you know, not everybody does that. So that question didn't get answered, but I
I
think
don't know that there is one.
there really isn't. There's not a clear.
Yeah.
It was a very poorly written RSA, but
Yeah.
such is life. So we will try to clean up the state's mess and figure out where we
Yeah, let's-
belong. But for now, I will draft a letter from the board regarding the driveway permit. And then, I guess, John, if you want to follow up with Ellen about pursuing the.
You just did.
Oh, I
Oh,
haven't hit send yet.
All right, so I will leave that on your capable hands. Thank you. All right, there was a,
As
go ahead.
part of this, can we talk about the fact that, the amount that, CMA came up with versus, what Barry came up with is, more than double?
I think we just leave it up to CMA and Barry to
Okay.
get through that.
Okay.
and get to a point where we'd see it as a final. And
Okay.
All right, so the last thing that I wanted to bring up for the board to just begin having a discussion on is, it also involves Pawtucket Ridge. This came from Chinburg. It was regarding, as-bills. You were part of the back and forth on that one. You seem to know it pretty well, but, to me, as-bills are just all the disturbed lands that are essentially common. I don't think does it need to include the individual lots? What was your thoughts on that?
my thought is that when, you know, as part of the subdivision regulation, or what we regulate for that subdivision, which includes the infrastructure, the roads, if there's utilities, the drainage, driveway locations, you know, we do get some rough grading in the sites.
Yeah.
But it would not, in my opinion, be expected that that gets as-bilted.
Yeah.
Where every porch is and every, you know, propane tank is, anything like that on each individual lots. It would be just basically what is in the performance bond.
Yeah.
That gets as-bilted.
Okay.
That's what I've done in the past. I don't know what we've done in the near future, but.
Does the town require, excuse me, does the town require foundation location plans as part of the building permit?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Except, from what I've been able to glean, the location of a house and I guess the shape of the house that is on the subdivision plan is that. Not measured, but seems to be, a matter of record, which I never thought of before, being on the board. I was just, you have to prove you can put a house on the lot, which doesn't mean a whole lot.
Well, I'm
You
just,
gotta do the 3K, 4K, you know, what, those kinds of things, and you have to be able to get to them. Okay, that's all. Here is a path that you can use to get there. But I never envisioned that that would be the path. But according to the way it's orchestrated, that's the path.
so I'm just curious, then how does the code enforcement officer know if the house is in the correct location? Or isn't violating setbacks, or things of that nature?
Hopefully, there's some measurements done, you know, or, you know, if you measure out the whatever feet it's supposed to be and it's at least that much, you know, maybe that's all they care, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the building inspector's
Right,
responsibility. Whether
Right.
he goes out there with a site plan and looks at the lot lines and says, yeah, the house is, you know, relative to where the subdivision approval was. I don't know how he does it.
because it's never exactly where it's intended
Yeah.
anyway, because there's always something that's always a little off.
There's several driveways on the top of Francesca, the first knoll on Francesca, that are on other people's properties, for lack of better termination. Because the way in which it was, ended up being built, the roadway system, the front points weren't identified until later. The back points were. So you could recreate the line at any point in time. But it wasn't done that way. My belief is, most of the homes are set back in the lots, so they're probably fine. My belief is that if you really went looking and digging, you'd probably find some of the homes and stuff don't meet setback requirements either. Foot, you know, not major, but, I happen to have a guy on the planning board that lived up there and said, I don't see a front pin anywhere. I went out there with the thing, Well, they found it, it was 10 feet down, but that's
Whether
with
because they had a lot of fill there.
a lot of fill that was there.
Remember
Don't know how that was missed, I don't know how it all worked, but it's just, boy, this is crazy stuff when it comes right down to it.
Yeah, and what has happened on a couple of the subdivisions is that, you know, when CMA is reviewing them, you know, they have the plans, they're out there reviewing them all the time. You know, in the past, we've had them just take a look at the as-built and, you know, say, yeah, well, this is way off or not. I mean, a surveyor has to prepare the as-built,
Right.
so, you know.
We don't require that here in town either.
As-bills we do,
do,
yeah, especially of the roadway and the infrastructure,
but yeah, of the
but
road.
not for the houses.
Not for the house,
Not for
right.
the
Oh, you
house.
talking
Which
about
is-
the houses?
which is what I was
Oh,
talking
sorry,
about.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they go out and recreate whatever happens there, yes. The subdivision. right?
Yeah, but not the houses, you're right.
No.
Do they even require a surveyed plan when you come in with a building, for a building permit
I haven't seen
application?
one.
No.
I
No,
haven't seen
you
one.
just have to have the tax map and a sketch.
So like Skip said, there's probably a lot of houses that are 49 feet from the property line, not 50.
Could be, just,
Or 20.
but the,
Right, yeah.
the driveways all look good,
I was
but they're in somebody else's lawn and, you know, whatever.
I sold a house in Candia and the garage was completely on the other person's lot and the lot line went through the living room because they guessed at which stone wall was the stone wall talked about in the deed and they got the wrong one, so. Some towns do, as far as I know, require a certified plot plan on all new construction. Particularly if it's a really tight, small lot, and I think a lot of towns have migrated to saying, we want that in every single lot, just to avoid future problems.
Right.
So you do these probably,
Lots of them.
lots of them, so
yeah.
what towns don't require,
Pun intended.
In the area, Nottingham, Northwood, and those are the only two that I can think of. Between Rochester, Farmington, Milton, Middleton, Dover, Somersworth, Rollinsford, Lebanon, Maine, Berwick, Maine, Acton, Maine.
all require a certified plot plan to say this house is located in the proper,
Yes.
okay, so we should have that should be in a,
Well,
something that we.
it's up to, you know, debate, right? Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't.
Well, it's just like, we're talking about upcoming upgrades to our zoning ordinance, is that something that we should add to the list,
Goes Blair.
Blair?
I'm gonna add it to your list.
The Skip version and the Blair version, are gonna be flying out there in the ether.
It's reasonable
I
to
mean-
talk about that.
As a surveyor, I definitely think that it's a good idea, not just, you know, it's not because it's my business, but because I think that knowing where the actual buildings sit in relationship to the property lines is important. You know,
Very important.
it protects both the homeowner and the town
And the neighbors.
and the neighbors.
Now, there are some cases where the planning board has requested a little more detailed plan, a design plan of a driveway if it's steep. And I think we've gotten some as-bills back for those, and sometimes it's not in the same location, you know. But it, you know, just to make sure that they prove that they can get the driveway there with the appropriate slopes.
All right, well, I'll communicate it back with Dale. He was saying in some emails that when he first, Maple Ridge was the last major subdivision, and he came in towards the end of the development and wasn't really included in a lot of the road aspects because the road agent was handling it, and, you know, Schimberg was asking us about what needed to be included. So, you know, I was just trying to address Dale's issues, but also address Schimberg, who was asking. You know, the bullet said, add a plan note indicating that as-built plans shall be delivered to the building permit prior to the certificate of occupancy being issued. That's what the notice of decision said
No.
for the Pawtuckaway Ridge. I get, so their question was, can we chat about this? I'm assuming you're referring to an as-built of the road, since these are feasible singles. Can you confirm you want an as-built of the road prior to the first CO? I would expect to submit a final as-built before final CO, as we would typically wait for top coat before we execute the final as-built. And then it says, would Knipstein's Trimble data suffice for now? You know what that is? Knipstein, it's K-N-I-P, Stein?
Probably just some electronic data of what some points are,
Oh, okay.
which I would say no. Because most town, and specifically this town, would not have the software to even look at it.
Oh, to read it, right.
Or the planning board to
You're the
understand
town.
what the hell it is.
Is there a,
Oops.
some other kind of standard or something like that I can tell them?
Paper?
PDF?
Paper and ink.
Fair enough.
Yeah, what about like just GIS stuff itself or whatever?
PDF, I think, is the best. Because GIS means you have to have the GIS software in-house to read it and manipulate it.
You guys don't have it?
I do, SRPC does,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, but
There's,
if it was,
This is for your records, this is for Dale and stuff, so if you guys have to go out there and you wanna know where utilities were buried and, you know, that's
if they got loaded to SRPC,
I mean, this stuff isn't for us, it's for your
Right,
records.
I
'Cause
know.
you may not hire us in the future, you may have your own planner or something like that, you want that stuff in-house. But what do we think? It says, building department prior to a certificate of occupancy being issued.
prior to a certificate.
Yeah,
Says to me, that's the first.
okay.
It's, what'd you say, Glenn?
I said with it saying a certificate of occupancy, that to me indicates that it's the first
You mean the
certificate.
conditional approval
I
saying?
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
For the
Is
first
that,
house?
is that a good
thing?
policy though? I mean, if you've got a row with, you know,
They could sell the first lot and pave up to past the first lot,
yeah, it'd be
and
fine.
you wouldn't want to as-built because it's, they could do it in pieces.
That's what Francesca did, right?
yeah.
Francesca did it in
Yep.
phases,
Phases,
yeah,
phase
so,
one.
but they created a phase that ended with hammerheads or whatever, and then moved on through those with various things.
I don't think it's a big issue if they do it prior to a topping coat. You know, they can just do the base course as a as-built, the elevations will be 2 inches off,
Right.
you know, but at least you have all the edges, you have,
Which is kind of the performance, you have all the inlets and the outlets and stuff.
everything's installed, you'll have.
All the drainage and everything.
Drainage will be there.
Isn't that what you really want, is you want
Yes.
a lot of that stuff?
Yeah.
You wanna make sure it's being built to original design, and you wanna make sure that it's, you know where everything is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would be okay with sending them information, you know, or sending them something along the lines of, we would like to see, you know, at minimum base coat, you know, for however long, and then, get the final as-built when you have the, have it completed.
Have you been up there? For Tuckwood?
Not recently, but
Well,
probably about,
it seems pretty well complete roadway and under, you know, the drainage and the, underground utilities and all that kind of stuff. What I can't seem to find is the front pins, if you will, between the lots.
Yeah.
But that could be any number of stakes that are out there.
they're probably flush. The rebar and stuff.
Yeah,
Guys who run the big Tonka toys like to use those as targets.
the big Tonka toys, yeah.
Bastards.
Yeah, and that's fine, I'm just saying that, so the first house CO, right, is what you're asking about?
Well, she was asking for clarification on what we meant when we said prior to issuance of a certificate of
CO.
occupancy. I mean, like Jimburg's quite big, but you know, the next builder might not be as big, and I don't, you know, do you want him to keep having to do iterations? Is that, I mean, that costs money to bring a new surveyor out every single time.
Right.
And you might only be getting little bits of information. I mean, I don't know the true ins and outs of what you guys do. What do you think is fair and reasonable? Because this isn't just a decision applicable to this. This is gonna be a decision that will apply to.
Yeah, and this is only what they've done too, because not all of them will be done like this one, I don't believe. This seems like they're doing the right job.
The right job compared to another one we're talking
Yeah,
about, maybe
yeah.
not so much.
Right. I agree.
So is it a CO or each CO?
It just says, the notice of
Okay.
decision says a CO. And she said, does this mean the first CO? Does it mean the last CO?
Yeah.
She was like,
Or each?
yeah.
Okay. The reason for an as-built is just to make sure what was built is recorded.
Right.
So that a catch basin might have moved somewhere else from the original design.
Yeah.
So that when our forces have to go out and clean that catch basin, they can go find it.
Right.
And it's not, oh, look at that other plan, it's just go for that as-built, look for that. So I wouldn't care at what point we got it, as long as we got it.
Yeah.
After they're done, I mean, it could be the last CO in my opinion. There's other things that are protecting that road getting to those house lots, and it's not just an as-built, it's the bond and,
That bond is the key.
yeah.
Right.
Well, don't we need to know where the road, I mean, before they give a CO on a house, don't we wanna have a preliminary plan showing, well, I guess CMA is doing their inspections and determining it's in the right location and all that?
Yeah, they're, I mean, the as-built is really, it's what it's called, as-built. How was, it was built as built, you know, like it was built as it was intended.
Unless that's maybe it is intended to be an as-built for that lot.
No, it would be an as-built for the subdivision. I
So-
mean, it's,
So realistically, it would be the first CO, I think. Because if you wait to the end and get the last CO, if they don't build the last house, you don't get an as-built.
Yeah.
Seems like the first one,
As a trigger.
that would trigger.
yeah,
But here's the thing though,
Last is relative.
let's say, you know, like some of these ones we've had, you know, it's a road and then it's like a cul-de-sac. I mean, if they build up to that cul-de-sac and the road's all complete, they should be able to get building permits along that way. But the as-built should include like the whole other section. You know, do we wanna wait until they're done everything? Or just get it get it piecemeal?
Well, this appears.
if they wanted to do that, then they could provide a phased
Right.
Updates,
as-built.
Yeah.
You know, if they wanna cut off part of the subdivision because they don't wanna build that yet,
Yeah.
and they wanna do this first part, then, you know, when that first CO is for that first part,
Okay.
but he'd have to, you know, submit some phased reason why his as-bilt's not gonna be complete.
Okay.
But we don't have a phasing plan, it's not like this is phase
for
one or
this-
phase two.
not for this
There's no
project, no.
Plan for that,
But-
so we can't.
Right, but they can, when they present the first as-built, they say, you know, look, we've only done this far, this is going to be phase one. Then when they sell those houses and they start building the second one, okay, the second one is phase two, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so the as-built for each phase. In this particular case, there isn't one.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
one phase.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, and if a developer
works.
wants to do it multiple phases, it doesn't have to be at the planning board approval process to do that.
Right.
It
That's
is,
what I'm-
Right.
when you have that first CO, it is required to then provide an as-built. And then I'm gonna say, as a developer, well, I'm not doing all these other lots, I'm just gonna go in and ask if I can just do this as-built for this piece.
Yeah.
And that's where the phasing comes in. You just have to describe, I'm only doing this phase, I'll give you an as-built for this phase, when I'm finished with this one, I'll give you, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
All right, so we're
And I
gonna,
think that clarifying that for them, would be a good idea.
So can we also, are we gonna be asking, or does that decision ask for a as-built for each site?
No.
no, we're not asking for the individual parcels. Here's what she said again. I would expect to submit final as-built before final CO, as we typically wait for top coat before we execute the final as-built. If I say they can do, can I give, what do we think about an option? They can choose to either give us an as-built up through the first CO or give us through just prior to top coat. Because as you said, that everything is gonna be there except for that final 2 inches.
Right, it's probably all there now, except for a final.
Are we okay with getting an as-built that doesn't include that final 2 inches?
I don't care.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
So then we can get like the whole thing and I guess get it.
So get one at the beginning and one at the end, basically.
Well, it sounds like they're already there now, so they could give it to us. She's just saying, if you wanted to have the top coat, I would really prefer to do it at the end.
Right.
When we do the final top
Yeah.
coat, because that's
Yeah,
what they do.
that's- that-
Their last thing is they roll out that road to the top coat and then they leave,
Right,
you know?
right.
And what they usually do is they'll let that winter over, like the base course, they'll let that
Yeah,
be for a little while, for, 6 months. Cause if they have a failure in it, they can go back and fix it before they have to go
Right.
repave everything. So that gives them some time to wear that in, and then the final coat will come on
Springtime.
springtime.
okay, that,
All right, I will relay that message to her.
Yep.
It's first CO unless, give us the pre-top coat as built now.
right.
Okay.
Base coat.
Is that what base coat is?
Base coat.
Base coat,
Yep.
top coat, yeah, that makes sense, all right. All right, then that's what I'll do.
Okay.
And that was your last point?
Yeah, I was trying to take advantage of no cases and,
Well, here we are, 2 hours in.
Hey, it's 8:30. Isn't that our time to stop?
Yep,
The gate again?
that's why we started 6:30.
I know.
Skip show is on.
well,
I'm gonna work tomorrow.
one thing to consider, is that we technically have, as far as I know, no new applications, nothing for the next agenda, the first meeting of August, which we could choose to not do, but we do have Deerfield coming in for the second meeting of August.
Are we still holding a joint meeting in August?
Yeah, that's something.
Is that the second one in August? Is that the one that the Deerfield one was continued to?
Yes.
Is that what that was?
Can't be, because we just
Can't
continue.
be continued to then.
I guess we could do it as the first meeting if we wanted to. It's probably better, I mean, it gets us started earlier on the zoning stuff. But, what do you guys wanna do? Yeah, I'm sorry, doing this land use clerk stuff with Ellen tag teaming it, that certain little things we're kind of overseeing. I bet a lot of them have caught
I
that.
wish we didn't cancel last meeting. And I was like, why, we could take advantage of all this stuff that we're doing today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have in our calendar that the August 27th was no regular business. This is the joint meeting.
Should we go back and change our previous decision?
For the continuance?
Yeah.
I thought about that, I mean, we run the risk of them asking for another continuance. If they didn't think they were gonna be ready for that meeting,
Right.
then they, and asked for the 27th or whatever it was, 23rd. They would have asked for the earlier one.
Can we do it in September, the September 10th meeting? Or is, I mean, I know they requested that it be continued until August 27th, so can we decide that it's September 10th? Isn't there a clock running on these where we have to
But they've
mutually
requested.
agree?
Yeah, when they're
Right,
making
they
the
requested a
request.
continuance, can we say, well, we aren't having any regular business during that meetings, and we don't wanna bump you up sooner because we want you to be ready. So we're continuing it until September tenth?
Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do it that way. I don't think anything precludes you. It's your decision. It's their request, it's your decision.
Right.
I mean, it's supposed to be a mutual decision when you're going past the 65 days and stuff. I don't think they would make a big deal out of it. I mean, I can't speak for them, but
The assumption is,
the question is the board bound by that publicated
No,
schedule?
no, we're not bound by that.
So
Because
you
we
could
can cancel
swap.
meetings and
Yes.
Yeah, right, we can
we can
hold that
swap it.
joint meeting either in August, early August.
Do
or-
the August 13th meeting, which would be the next one.
We already know we don't have items.
We don't
for
have
our-
items.
for the August 13th meeting. I guess there might be still like a week left to submit something, but at this rate, we would have heard about it by now. So, or you can put it to the 10th and just keep that schedule as it was planned. So I think you have two choices. You have two options here.
Joint meeting on the 10th of September or joint meeting on August 13th. Those are the two options?
No, the two options are have the joint meeting on the 13th and Deerfield on the second meeting, or continue to have the joint meeting at the end of August and move Deerfield to the second meeting, or to the first meeting of September.
Do we have to talk to other boards?
Probably.
Yeah.
We do.
We have to let
Yeah,
them know.
because it's a joint meeting with them, so.
They should know about the joint meeting.
We know about it.
There's still time. We have 3 weeks. I mean, an email could go out tomorrow letting them know that that was the decision that was made tonight.
Well, it was up for discussion with them, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because we can't agree for both parties.
True.
Yeah, but I would like to give a little bit of deference to applicants. They do have, deadlines that they are dealing with. And I don't want to prolong theirs when something we have is flexible and could move.
Right, the assumption is that it could be flexed, but we need to check.
Yeah. Well, why don't we just do a little bit of a polling of the joint people of the August 13th or the September 10th?
Okay.
That make sense? Okay.
So who is it? We do ZBA, Concom. Is that it?
I think building
We've done
inspector,
building
Yeah,
fire
staff,
chief.
staff, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Other
staff comes
boards.
to, yeah.
boards, yeah, it's ZBA, Conservation Commission, Planning Board.
Did we invite you guys?
I thought we had DPW.
If we invited them,
and-
they never
No.
came.
They never came.
Too cool for school.
Never came, only,
Fire
I went
department,
last
you'll be
year
here.
because,
You'll
I
be
was here
here.
last year because John couldn't be here.
Okay.
fire department, police department sometimes.
Yeah, planning.
Yeah, the staff. I know about the
Public Works.
staff. I'm
You
just
seem
more
to
more
get
worried
like
about the boards.
really focused on a couple things.
What are the two dates? The 13th?
13th or the September 10th.
I'd like to do that August one just to kind of get things going. That's a good time for us to get things going, but
Especially if we don't have any new cases.
Right,
Who knows what
right.
September will
I
bring. We
think
might
the
have 4 new
preference-
Yeah.
cases.
I think our preference would be the 13th, but if it's too short of notice for the other
fair.
groups.
And by that point, we'd have more to talk about because we'll probably have had some conversations about what we want to do. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's fine.
So who do we tell that that says no regular business is no longer no regular business? Do we change that joint meeting to,
When we know it, we'll move it to the joint meeting and scratch out the no
I know
regular
that, but
business.
now we can take more business on the 23rd if you want,
27.
27th.
27th, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't think there
We
were
don't
any
have
new
any.
cases, though. That was the whole thing. There weren't any new cases for August.
Not that we
So-
know of yet.
We don't know if there are any yet.
Well, they were due by
Well,
July
yeah,
21st.
July 21st, we haven't
So it's
heard
passed.
anything, so there's nothing, and the next meeting would have been a joint meeting with no business, so nothing in August, aside from the continued case.
So we should put no regular business meeting, no regular business against all of these, and then therefore. Okay.
Problem solved.
I don't need to be involved in it.
Thanks, Skip,
Or
for
we just-
thoroughly confusing us all.
I know.
All right, we're past 2 hours, so we're getting funny.
And you still have a plan to sign, that's another 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Can we wrap it up?
Yeah. I got nothing else.
Okay, perfect.
I had plenty.
We did all the minutes, we did all the other business, so.
We did.
A motion to adjourn and sign some Mylars would be in accordance.
Motion to adjourn, so motion.
Motion and a second.
Aye.